Yeah. Hi, Ashutosh.
Hi, sir. Hi, Harish.
Yeah. So, can you brief us about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Ashutosh Ranjan. Presently, I am working in Tata Consultancy Services as an assistant system engineer. Talking about my roles and responsibilities, so I used to work as a test automation engineer, and my responsibilities are I used to run the automation scripts every day as per the business requirement, and I am also involved in creation of the scripts as well as running of the scripts. While the coming to the creation of framework, so I know how to create, but I have not created the framework in my current company. It is created by my team leads and all. uh, Apart from this, I am also means I used to work in an agile manner, and I am also a part of sprint calls which used to happen every day, and that's it. That's it
Okay.
about myself.
So, you have said you follow Agile, right?
Hmm.
So, can you tell me how many uh, like uh, meetings you have in Agile? What all meetings you are aware of? Like Agile ceremonies.
uh, Yeah, yes. First meeting is like a Scrum meeting, which is used to held every day for 15 minutes, in which they will give you that your task, what you need to do for the day. And after that, there is one meeting at the evening where they will take the updates from you, where you will give the updates that what you have done and all these things. And there is one product backlog as well. If there is anything which is not done in a particular day, then it will be marked as like it will go to the backlog part.
Okay. And you are going to discuss that backlog in soon. Is there any kind
Yeah.
of backlog refinement?
Sorry, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, no problem, no issue with that. So let's start with manual testing first, okay? And
Yeah.
after that, we will continue. So, like, uh, tell me more about what all testings you are aware of, kind of testings you are aware of.
So means previously I used to do like I have total overall of one year experience in testing. So for the initially 4 months I have done manual testing. After that I have done automation testing. So in manual testing I used to do functional testing, sanity, smoke. Uh, the major testings are are related to UI testing only. Okay, I am not involved in the database testing. These things I am not involved in. Yeah, so these overall only the black box testings I have done.
Okay, so as you have said, you are part of a smoke and sanity testing. So can you tell me the difference between both of them?
Yeah, so smoke, if there is any features and if it is released with some new advancement, then we used to just test those features and all. We don't need to test our application end to end. Okay, and for sanity, we need to, if we want to test, then we need to test end to end for sanity for our application end to end.
Okay, and what about regression? When are you going to do
Regression.
regression?
Regression is like we used to do the regression for only the essential features, not for every test cases we used to do the regression. Means or when we get our new releases after the first build, when we get our new releases with some new features, then we used to do the regression for only those features. Or we can say that like test scenarios which cover more test cases. So in that regression we will not cover the repeated test cases.
Okay,
We just used to check the functionality of our application in regression.
and can you tell me the difference between regression and retesting?
Retesting is like when something is coming, some bug is coming, some defect is coming, we report that defect to our developers, and if we fix that defect, then we use to test our test case. So that is called retesting. And regression is like we used to test every test scenario once, and we used to make sure that it's working properly or not.
Okay. So, like, you are doing testing and you have found a bug. So, which bug tracking tool you use?
In our company, in my company, I use HPQC.
Okay. And what is the bug life cycle that you follow in that?
So first we used to just register our defect in that defect board. Okay, and we used to attach the screenshot of our defect and also description of our defect, and also the severity of our defect, and severity as well as priority. So it's like one priority, two priority, three priority, and then we used to register our defect. And next day, if the defect is fixed by developer, then they used to comment on our defect like we need to retest our defect. And then again we used to retest our defect, and if everything will found okay, so first our defect status will be open when we used to register it on our HPQC. And after that, when the developer fixed that defect, then that defect is in that the defect status is in progress. And after that, when we used to just test that defect, then we used to we can't close our defect by ourselves, so we used to just comment on the same developers comment below the developers comment, like what we that what he have mentioned, that is fixed, and it's working as expected. And then the developer, if developer is satisfied with our results, then he closed the defect.
Okay. And like, who is going to close the defect?
uh, from the client, and they used to close. We don't have the access to close it.
Okay. And in the bug life cycle, you mentioned severity and priority. So, can you tell
Hmm.
me, like, how you decide and who decides the severity and priority, and what's the difference? So, I have two questions. Like, who decides the severity and priority, and what is the difference between both of them?
The severity is priority is decided by, I think, decided by the business stakeholders, I think. And you can say like priority is the priority. Severity means any defect which used to cause our execution, which used to halt the whole execution, means it is a very necessary thing which we need to address as soon as possible. And while the priority is like it depends upon, like if there is if we assign as a priority 3 to any defect, then it's like it's not necessary as one point of time, but it will be resolved after some time. And if the priority is 1, then we will address that defect first. Severity, I can give you an example, like the logo name is changed from in an application, so that you can call as a severity, because it could impact the business stakeholders as well,
So,
because
the
the logo name,
logo,
if the logo
yeah,
uh,
if the logo name is changed, so that is, let's say there is an like spelling mistake in the logo. So, in which,
mm,
like, are you aware of the quadrants, like low priority, high and high severity? And so, can you like just give me an example of high priority and high severity bug?
high high priority, so these the what I have said you earlier, that is low priority and high severity bug.
Okay.
Okay. um and you have asked me high priority and high severity bug,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
So, okay, if there is like in the name field, okay, no, sorry, in the you can say like in an email field. Okay, if we used to enter our email, and our email should have a fixed length. Okay, and if
Hmm.
it's used to take if it used to take like more than that, more than the limit length, then you can call it as high priority and high severity.
Okay. And can you give me an example of low priority and low severity bug?
Low priority and low severity work. Uh, I am not getting the example at this point of time, but I can tell you like the bug, the defect which won't cause you as means as much the application means it will not impact that much to the stakeholders that you can say like low priority and low severity bug. Means we can address that in the maintenance cycle when we used to do the maintenance.
Okay. And can you tell me what is the difference between an epic and a user story?
So epic and the user story. So okay, user story is the group of epics. So group of epics will create a user story. User story is you can call as a scenarios and epic as a test case.
Okay. Like just give me more examples. I'm not fully like confident with your answer. So can you tell me
Okay.
more?
Okay. So suppose there is one login scenario in which we need to test the whole login page and whole the login functionality. And there is one test case like our email and password are working correctly or not, the login button is correctly or not, the login button is working correctly or not. When we used to enter in the home page, then the title what is then there is our name or not in the home page. So these are the test cases, and the whole login we need to the functionality what we test as whole for the login page, that is called as you can say like user story, and the test cases which I have told you, that is called as epics.
Okay. And as you have mentioned that like you are also working in automation testing. So
Yeah.
like can you tell me like why do we need automation testing at all?
Yeah, sure. For like, but when we used to do the repetitive task every time, for that we need automation testing so that it will decrease the repetitions of our task. And when we used to use many data, means there is use of many data is in our framework, then we can use automation testing. Yeah, means it will not used to change frequently. Then we can use like if it used to change the frequently, then it is not suitable for automation. But yeah, if there is need of data, then we can use the automation, and it will also save the time. Okay, while just doing the test cases, it is also save our time. And while and there is also very less chances of errors because no human is involved in doing that part.
Okay.
The our code used to test it as
Okay.
what we have written, that used to test that.
Okay.
So this is the thing which is
Okay.
necessary.
Good, Astosh. So you must be aware of a line that web driver is equal to new Chrome driver.
Yeah, sure.
So can you tell me like what is it and how you are going to explain me this line? Like I'm not under like I don't understand this line. So how you're going to explain me this?
Okay. So I'm going to. Okay. So a driver, you can say like driver is an interface of new Chrome driver class, and we used to instantiate a driver as a object of new Chrome driver.
Mm, okay. Can you tell me when we write web driver is equal to new Chrome driver? So what is the object in this?
So we used to a driver is an web driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So instead of that also we can write Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So but in that case we can only able to run that thing in Chrome browser. But when we used to write like web driver, then we used to then that interface through that interface we can test that in every browser other than Chrome browser also. And new Chrome driver is a class. Chrome driver is a class and driver is an interface, and we used to instance I mean we used to give all the functionalities of Chrome driver to that driver object, and through that we can just control our all the actions in the web page what we used to do.
Okay. Okay. So let's say you have a page. Okay, go IBO page. So in that, after entering the from and to city, like you want to book a flight, and after entering the from where you want to fly to where, and clicking on search, there is certain weight. So what kind of weight are you going to use in that to handle this situation? So you got my point. Like after hitting search, like there is a delay of 10 seconds. So how you are going to handle this weight?
I can handle this weight by implicit weight as well. And if it is for only that particular web element, then I can use explicit weight. Because the difference between implicit and explicit is what, like implicit weight, if we define implicit weight, then it will wait for that element to be located in the DOM for that particular of that for particular period of time, and it will find that element repeatedly in that DOM for that particular period of time, what we have just mentioned in the implicit way. And if we want for a particular element to wait for a particular period of time, then we can use explicit wait in that case.
Okay. And let's say thread dot sleep is which kind of weight?
Thread dot sleep, uh, it's like it used to break our execution. It used to stop our execution, halt our execution for that period of time, what we have mentioned there.
Okay.
So
Then
it's not suitable to use thread dot sleep.
what is the difference between
As
thread dot sleep and implicit weight?
So if we give thread dot sleep to 2000, like any weight what we have mentioned in that thread dot sleep, then it will just halt our thread for that period of time. Means everything is in sleep state. Nothing is there. Means it's like you can say like it's used to sleep our execution for that period of time. What we have mentioned in that thread dot sleep. In case of implicit wait, it used to find that particular element for that period of time, and if it would find that particular element, then means it is for you can say like we used to define the weight, define the time of that weight globally for every element through implicit weight. And for thread dot sleep is independent of web elements. It's not depends upon the locator.
Okay. So let's say I have applied implicit weight on an element, and
Hmm.
I have applied an implicit weight of 10 seconds. Okay. And that element is found in 2 seconds. So how
Hmm.
our script is going to behave?
Normally it used to be
So
nothing will
is
change
it going
because
to wait for 10
yeah,
seconds or for 2 seconds?
no, it is going to wait for 2 seconds only, because in that 10 second, if I have said like in 10 second, if that bit found, then it will work normally.
Okay.
Means it will wait maximum for 10 second for that locator. And if
Okay.
it yeah,
No
then it
issues.
will throw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, how many locators are you aware of?
So basically, I am not counting the number. I'm just telling the name. Okay, and of the all locators. So there is one ID locator, class locator, CSS selector locator, XPath, partial text, link text, um, tag, tag name. So I think I have covered almost all types of locators. These are the all locators.
Okay. And like, do you use XPath or CSS?
Primarily, in major of the time, I use XPath, but I also know how to use CSS. And
Okay.
yeah, that's it. I
Okay.
mean, major of the time I used XPath because it's easy to find any element in the DOM through XPath.
Okay. So, tell me about what all OOPS concept you are aware of.
So, as we know that there were four pillars of OOPS: inheritance, abstraction, polymorphism, and encapsulation. So I'm aware of that all.
Okay. And tell me, where are you using abstraction in your project or your framework? Can you give me an example?
So, hmm, great. So, suppose I have defined my all, you can say all the common elements what we use to like instance, like the driver instance and all. in an page, and we have just defined it as in a abstract method. Okay, and we used to do the implementation in the page where we used to just implement that abstract method, where we used to extend that class. In the child class we used to define those instance common methods what we use in our framework,
Okay.
that we used to define as an abstract class, and then we used to implement those classes in the extended class, okay, in the child class.
And how, like, what's the difference between abstract class and an interface?
So okay, so from interface we can achieve 100% abstraction, because if we used to define any interface, then there we used to there we can only declare our function and not define our function. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so for the definition of function we used to implement that interface in another class. Okay, and we used to define each and every function what we have mentioned in the interface. Okay, so through interface we can achieve 100% abstraction, and in abstract class along with the abstract methods we have normal methods also, and we just need to define that abstract method in the extended class.
Okay. And Ashutosh, can you tell me, like, what is the use of constructor? What are the benefits of using
Okay,
constructor?
so as you know that constructor has no return type, and as we used to declare the object, and we used to declare the object constructor call automatically. So any common things what we used to define in our method, that we can define using constructor, because as as means we used to initiate our object, or we initiate our class, constructor will call automatically. So anything what we used to define in the constructor, that is called automatically. I can give you an example, like we used to declare our local instance variables using constructor using this keyword, because
Okay.
we want that our that the common variables will initialized before creation of object, means at when we used to create the object, and then we
Okay.
can use it in our through object.
In your resume, I can see that you have mentioned that like you have also worked in TestNG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
test and build.
can you tell me the sequence of execution of
Yeah,
annotations
yeah,
in,
sure.
yeah, like tell me the like sequence of execution of annotations in
Hmm.
TestNG.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So first comes before suit, then come before test, then come before class, then come before method, and after that at the rate test, and just following the above order, below comes like at last it comes after suit, before that at the rate after class,
Okay,
after
perfect. I
before
got
that
it.
after.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you know that. And
Hmm.
so, like how you are going, like how you are passing the data in your framework. Let's say
Yeah.
how you are like username and password. So how are
Hmm.
you passing that username and password in your framework?
Using data provider helper attribute.
Okay. So can you tell me like which all external libraries we use?
Data config dot properties as well, data properties file.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
And yeah, Excel utility file as well.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
And
Excel
let's
utility.
say you have to read data from an Excel file. Like you have a set of data, okay, numbers that you need to pass on to your script. So how you are going to do that?
I am not aware of that, how to read that at this point of time. Sorry.
Okay, no issues. And which all reporting tools uh, are you using? Like how you
In
used to
our
generate
pro-
a report? Yeah, that's like
in
how.
our yeah, in our framework we use extent reports.
Okay.
So through that, okay, so in the place of listeners, we just used to do the reporting. On failure, we used to capture the screenshot, and if there is on test success, we used to generate the reports, that extent reports, by using extent report utility.
Okay. Are you aware of like soft and hard asserts in TestNG assertion?
Yeah, yeah,
So can you
yeah.
tell me the difference between soft assert and hard assert?
Yes, sure, sure. So assert is for the validation. Okay, what we are just through assert we used to validate. So a hard assertion is like when it used to validate our script, and if it used to fail, then our script used to halt, and if it, sorry, our script used to break at that point. And if it would be a soft assertion, then it would won't break. If it would fail, that validation would fail, then it will just it will work as a normal flow. It will work, and then at last it will just show our what where it would fail. Okay, after the test execution, our test won't break in case of soft assessment.
Okay, perfect. Now, like, let me ask you that there is a cake, okay, and you have to cut it into 8 pieces using 3 cuts only. So how are you going to do that?
Using three
Yeah,
cuts.
you have to like cut it only thrice, and there is a single cake, and I want 8 pieces out of it.
Okay, good. Okay, so what we can do, uh, okay, so first we used to cut horizontally one piece,
Okay.
then we used to cut vertically one piece,
Mm-hmm.
then we used to just cut diagonally one piece.
Diagonally, like,
Diagonally means you can say like horizontally.
okay.
I can show you. Okay, horizontally, vertically. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then like there is one horizontal and vertical. There is one diagonal. This one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Thank you, Ashutosh.
Yeah, okay, thank
Like,
you.
I'm done with my side. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir. Only I want my feedback, and yeah, that's it.
Sure. Okay. So let us start from the beginning.
Okay, sir.
So, like, when I ask you about introduction, so what,
Mm,
like, you were good and you were able to tell me that whatever you are working on, that was clearly communicated. But the only problem which I saw, like, don't write, I'll provide you this feedbacks later.
okay.
Okay. So what I felt is that you told your introduction in such a way that it felt like it was crammed. You have like crammed it. Otherwise, it was
Mm,
good. So just be polite and
mm,
introduce yourself slowly, not just like that you have crammed
okay,
something
sir.
and you're going to spit it out
Oh,
in 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Okay. Just be
okay.
calm and compose and write down. Okay. Now, after that, when I regarding agile, okay, so I picked up agile from your introduction only because whatever you have told in your introduction, so you told that you worked on agile, so I picked up agile from there only. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
I asked question on that, so it was okay. Okay. The whatever agile part you told is okay, but again when I ask you about ceremonies, you are not able to answer all the ceremonies. So like, try to learn. If you have, if you're telling something, so interview is an art. Understand that whatever
Mm,
you are going to tell, the interviewer is cross question you on the same thing. So if you
mm,
don't know anything, either don't tell, or whatever you're telling, just
mm,
be good in that. So if you're telling agile, so just be prepared with agile, and like, what are the ceremonies, how we do it, and when, like, how agile came into picture, everything. Okay.
mm,
So that this
okay.
is the feedback regarding that. And
Mm,
now coming to manual testing part, so you were good in manual testing. Like, whatever the questions I asked, most of them was answered. But there is one thing that is lacking, is that, let's say I asked you regression testing. Okay, so before giving the examples, or uh, just try to, there is a be crisp, short and crisp, to the point
mm,
definition, and after that
mm,
try to explain your like whatever the examples you want to give. Okay, as an interviewer,
okay,
I want to I want to hear some particular words, so that is only going to
mm,
come when you provide a clear and crisp definition. After that,
mm,
like you told us the difference between regression and retesting, so you can tell it
mm,
afterwards. Okay, and that is applicable for bug life cycle also. So I know you know, like how to raise a bug and what are the process, but still like try to be more clear and precise in your answers. Okay, and once
okay,
you are done once you are done with your answer, you can give the example on which part you have worked. Okay,
okay, okay,
now like with the case with severity and priority. So see, there are in an interviewer, if you answer simple questions, then obviously the interviewer is going to raise up the bar, and you will be like
mm,
asked some little difficult questions. Okay, and
mm, mm,
the like the severity and priority question is pretty simple. So if you don't
mm,
answer that, like I ask you, give me an example of low priority and low severity. Okay, so this is a
mm,
very simple question, and like I expect 90% of the guys to answer this. Okay, so if you want to stand out,
okay,
just like there are some things which you need to know by heart, and this is one of those
okay,
questions. Okay, so
mm, okay, okay,
like you are clear in the difference between severity and priority, but again that there is a quadrant. Okay, so just go and learn about it, and I'm sure like
mm,
your communication was good and I was able to understand what you want to tell. Okay,
mm,
and now coming to the automation part. Okay, so I felt that you need to work little bit more on automation, and just like not just your work project, but try to like learn it on your own. Okay, first
mm,
learn the Java concepts, and after that
mm,
try to build up the framework and know like what each component is doing. But I appreciate like
mm,
at 1 year of experience, you are like, if you have got a chance, so that is like you told me what I expected, and that was good.
mm,
And as an interviewer, I felt confident that at 1 year of experience, you can work in a automation team. Okay, and
okay,
like communication part, I told you, just be little gentle and clear
mm,
in your answers. Okay, otherwise the answers were okay. And
mm,
like I asked you the question regarding uh, tell me the locators. Okay, so in that case you have to like, you don't have to think it. uh,
mm,
Whatever the locators are there, just like put it down in a list and tell each and every one of them. Okay, so that is what I expect. But again, like at your experience, I totally understand, and it was okay. And that's it. I hope like if you keep on learning, you will like very soon you will do wonders. Okay, so that's it, Ashutosh, from my side. And one more
okay,
thing, at the end, I thought like you are confused that like this is a mock interview. So when an interviewer
mm,
asks you, do you have any question for me, just like this is also a very important question, and just try to ask him what kind of work you are doing, the tech stack, so that tomorrow if you have 2 to 3 offers, so you can differentiate between them, that okay, this organization is going to work on this technology and this organization is going to work on this one. So what I need, what
mm.
is good for me. Okay, so try
Okay,
to
sir.
like
Okay.
ask good questions when an interviewer give you an um, question like that. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
like if like giving the verdict that if I would like, I will be taking, if I would have taken your interview for my team, I will surely
Mm,
like would recommend you to my upper management, because like at such a early stage of career, you know manual testing, you know basics of automation, and that is what is expected till like 2 or 3 years of experience. So that is good. Just brush up your like little more, and I'm sure like you are interview ready.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Ashutosh, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Yeah, you too, sir.